When it comes down to Hurricane Maria and the recovery that's going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, we kind of forget about the Virgin Islands and tend to talk about Puerto Rico a lot more. But those folks are also trying to bounce back, even to this day, from those hurricanes that was so destructive on those islands. So they are going through many challenges too, but unfortunately, it is constantly overlooked. Unpaid workers and complaints of shoddy construction plague hurricane recovery on U.S. Virgin Islands. So, as you can see, they are still trying to clear off the debris and rebuild. And it's been a struggle for them. It's been a real struggle. So, after back-to-back Category 5 hurricanes blew through there the fall of 2017, and we will never forget that. It seemed like every hurricane that cropped up was powerful. Um, so they are struggling with people coming there trying to work and help them rebuild. A contract firm said his crew would split about $50,000 for their work on 89 properties. So Brian arrived with 10 friends and relatives last summer to repair blown-in doors and busted window frames, install FEMA-funded roofs, at times working up to 12 hours a day. But the money never arrived. And this is what I'm also hearing about in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of contractors there. People are trying to work to get everything back up and running, but there are major money issues. And this is why Puerto Rico never truly went away in the news, because Trump still act like he doesn't want to help those people at all. And he doesn't even mention the U.S. Virgin Islands at all. I don't think I've heard him mention it before. And if he did, it was probably 2 years ago when the U.S. Virgin Islands were hit with the hurricane. But otherwise, I never hear anything from him. I certainly haven't heard anything from him this year about the U.S. Virgin Islands. Frustration has consumed the Virgin Islands amid a wave of complaints about unpaid bills, broken promises, and shoddy work in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma and Maria. In one case, the tensions culminated in an armed standoff. Wow. Over allegations of unpaid contractors. Yeah, people can't go all the way there and not get paid. That is a big problem. So, wow. I mean, how do you get the work done if the funding is not there? Yeah, and you can see the roofs are gone from these properties right here. You can clearly see that. Wow. It's a lot of still some down trees there that never got taken up. Well, if you don't have the money in your budget, then hey, you can't do nothing about it. The territory, which includes 3 islands, is roughly the size of Philadelphia, remains a long way from its pre-storm footing after 18,500 homes and businesses were damaged or destroyed by the hurricanes, resulting in an estimated $11 billion in damages. Like Puerto Rico, the 103,000 residents of the Virgin Islands are American citizens, though they cannot vote in the presidential election and have no voting representation in Congress. Trump has complained recently about the amount of disaster aid going to Puerto Rico amid Democrats called for more funding. Yeah, so that's been a battle, and I never seen a president react that way when people needed help that are technically US citizens. But Trump have complained about helping these people every step of the way. You know, and you can tell they clearly need help. I mean, look at that roof. Yeah, you can see the water damage on the roof there. Wow. I mean, that's a shame how these people, the hurricane happened in 2017 and this is 2019, and these folks are still struggling to get back on their feet. I mean, and I also want to show you Puerto Rico so you can see the impact of people just not sticking around anymore, waiting for things to get repaired. They are leaving. And I don't blame them. I don't blame anybody in the US Virgin Islands at this point leaving. They are just not moving fast. There's too much fighting over the funding. And this came out in the New York Post, April 18th, 2019. Puerto Rico suffered greatest population drop in history after Hurricane Maria. And they said this occurred because people either died or they just moved off the island altogether. So this is a very historic thing. Now, do you know when this happened? I did a video back in 2017 and I said that they would have a hard time getting the island repaired because Trump was not acting very supportive. Some man from Puerto Rico came to cuss me out and told me I don't know what I'm talking about. Trump did support Puerto Rico. I would love for that same person to come back and say that to me now. I bet he won't. New Census Bureau data shows Puerto Rico lost nearly 4% of its population after Hurricane Maria, the greatest population drop in the recorded history of the islands, according to one demographer. Data released Thursday shows the U.S. territory population dropped by 129,848 people between July 2017 and July 2018. That's pretty significant, especially on a small island. To lose that amount of people, that's huge. It really is. So they're saying that the population lost is from both deaths and people moving away. So that's how they're saying the drop has occurred. The heaviest population drop occurred in metropolitan areas such as the capital of San Juan, the city of Ponce, and surrounding areas. It's the largest population drop seen in a single year ever registered in Puerto Rico, demographer Raul Figueroa said. The census numbers show there were 6,449 more deaths than births during the 12 months in question. Now, they said, and I didn't know this until the hurricane hit, there was a population decline going on Puerto Rico. More people were dying than being born on that island. And never heard about that until the hurricane struck. So, they were already at a disadvantage as far as population growth. Now, this really is significant with all of the people moving away and still people dying. Many of those excess deaths following the hurricane were of sick and elderly people who would have died sometime in the year. In the question, Figueroa said deaths for the year may have been concentrated right after the storm due to a lack of electricity, services, and fresh water. He said he think immigration slowed in 2019 and the population has begun to slowly recover. Wow. Yeah, they said areas that was once very busy in Puerto Rico are boarded up And it's hardly no people in those areas, which had a lot of business at one point in time. Many Puerto Ricans left for Florida and New York, home to communities of people from the territory. Sister Carmen Negron of the Society of the Sacred Heart sells handmade rosaries and religious icons in a narrow passage. Okay, so she is just acknowledging the population drop in that area, and said there's fewer people, shopping in those areas now. The area has been shrinking. Negron said sales are down. San Juan lost 81,087 people, a 3.9% drop in the 12 months covered by the Census Bureau report. Paseo de Diego, the central thoroughfare of Rio Piedras, was filled years ago with stores that are closed and empty today. You see fewer people around, fewer young people. Okay. So those are the things that you would expect. All right. So some people moved away, like this person had were selling roasted potatoes for 15 years, a native of the Dominican Republic. And she said she left and had no intentions on moving back. So that's probably the general consensus among the people that left. Many of them are sick and tired of hurricanes, and they want more stability. Can't blame them. I can't blame anybody from the US Virgin Islands that feel the same way. So, she's just talking about this person is talking about many of their friends have moved away and they're not coming back. I would imagine a lot of people aren't coming back, especially if you don't have the money to rebuild. They probably won't be back. But please tell me what you think about these two stories, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's a shame that they have not been able to make the progress that they want to make, but it's really difficult being on those islands because they are very prone to having hurricanes hit, that general area. And even if you rebuild, how long is that going to hold up before the next hurricane comes barreling through? There's no way of saying it never will happen again. I mean, we are not even at hurricane season yet, but it could possibly be a bad season. You just don't know. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.